Hello, I don't normally start my videos from here, but I wanted to do so today for two reasons. And the first being, I wanted to thank all my new subscribers. I really want to thank all my subscribers because I've just reached over 300 subscribers on this channel, which for many is nothing, but for me it's a major milestone. Thank you very much for taking the effort to watch the video, enjoy it, and to subscribe. Really appreciate it. I hope I can continue to provide the content that you want to see, and because of that hope, and I know this video is just slightly different to the norm, I thought I should give a warning. So this is the second thing, is this video is kind of titled A Ramble in the Hills, and it's more of a verbal ramble than a walking ramble. I do tend to just witter on about almost everything: the location, the wonderful views, some photography, a bit about Aperture Priority. I just talk, and the reason for that is that I realise I've not been as comfortable in front of the camera as I should be. Over the last couple of years, because of lockdown and so forth, I tended to do videos and go away, say in the caravan, do multiple videos over a period of a few days, and then stretch them out over the next couple of months. So I've not really been going out very often and doing videos, so I kind of get less comfortable in front of the camera. So for that reason, this one is pretty much me just talking to the camera and trying to become more comfortable with what I'm doing. So if you can't be bothered watching a ramble in the hillside and seeing the wonderful scenery that I saw, then feel free to switch off now. Those who want to carry on, please do so, and I'll catch you at the end where I'll talk about a bit about the pictures and a bit more about Aperture Priority, and we'll see you then. Bye for now. Hello and welcome to a windy hillside. And yes, this is accessible photography, and I'm not supposed to be hill climbing because I don't do that. But I've selected somewhere to come to that has a car park really close to the top of a hill. You see hills in the background over there covered in snow, and over this direction it's a bit windy for this. Over in this direction is the Forth Valley with the Wallace Monument just over here, Stirling behind, then the Forth running down there. So my objective is to see where this path takes me and see what views I get. They're supposed to be pretty good, but I thought this path was fairly level, and it's not. So I'm climbing an incline, and you know me, I don't like climbing. It's only that, but it's right at the start. I'm hoping it levels off and we can get quite far along. I know I'm not going to get to the main viewpoint. I think it's too far. I've not walked for a while, and Duke, hey Dukey, well, he's got a nasty wee growth in between his toes, so that's causing him some issues, so I don't want to walk him too far either. But let's just see how far we get and what we can get out of it. Now this is a reconnaissance trip really. I've only brought the one camera, one lens, as well as this. I didn't bring my big lens, even though I'm high up looking down on things. A big lens would be great for picking things out. I didn't want to risk overloading myself. Yep, I'm looking at this ahead of me. It's stepped, but it's upway. Oh well, we'll see how far we get. I'll show you this. recording this just using the microphone on the GoPro, just in case this microphone isn't working, because I dropped it in the water. It's the second time it's pinged off me when I'm doing a vlog, and I lost the last vlog completely because I had no audio after the first image. That was Duke having a wee choke to himself. I'm hoping this works, really hoping this works. I'm going to plug it back in again and try. I'm in line with the Wallace Monument over here, and Stirling, looking right into the sun. But I'm looking down the Forth Valley here, and I can see Kincardine Bridge, and then the Queensferry crossing just around the corner there, the Forth Road Bridge, then the Forth Rail Bridge, i.e. the Forth Bridge, and beyond that is Arthur's Seat. What a beautiful, beautiful view. I'm going to take a photograph of this, and then I'm going to head up this area here. I don't think I'll get up to the top of that hill. I'm going to get a bit further along and see where I can get. I can see the viewpoints up there. That's the viewpoint. You can see people at it, but I don't think I'm going to get that far. But wow, it is stunning. So I'm walking along now with the camera in hand, despite the fact it's a little bit bumpy and slippy. But every time I put the camera away, the light changes. It picks out something, even just smoke or steam coming out of an industrial area ahead, dark landscape, and then the steam just illuminates in white, beautiful whiteness. And I'm just in awe. I really am. It is wonderful getting up a hill, and I can't do it as much as I would like. And this is wonderful. The view is spectacular. Absolutely spectacular. Have a look at this. I'll try and zoom that in a little bit for you to see, but I'll take a wee picture as well. And as usual, I'm not using any filters. I'm considering taking them on my next big trip, which is the surprise that's coming up soon. If you watched the last video to the end, I mentioned there's a surprise coming up. This isn't it. The surprise isn't me getting up a hill. It's a big surprise, and it involves me packing. And I've been spending time packing the camera bag, unpacking the camera bag, and trying to decide what on earth I'm going to take with me. Because you can take too much stuff, but there are times when filters are, I think, still needed. So what I'm doing just now, because I don't have a filter, I don't have a grad grey on, is I've put exposure compensation on to 0.7 underexposed, sometimes one stop underexposed, because I'm photographing a lot into the sun, very bright white clouds, and now the landscape's going into shade. So if it exposes for the landscape, I'm going to burn out the sky, and I don't want to do that. So I want to underexpose a little bit. I hope I'm right. Yes, underexpose, so that I don't burn out the sky, and I should be able to bring everything else out in post afterwards. So the ISO was at 80, and I put it back up to 100 so that I could get a little bit of a higher shutter speed. And on this trip, for the first time, I'm using Aperture Priority. I'm normally fully manual, but I've been learning a little bit, and I'm doing Aperture Priority, and I'll talk about that again in a minute. So as I head up this mild, slight, moderate incline to possibly the summit, I don't think we'll get to the summit. I'll just talk about Aperture Priority whilst we're in the lee of the wind, and hopefully you can hear me. I've been a manual person pretty much all my days. When I first got my D90, I was a bit scared, and I had it on auto all the time, and I weaned myself off auto, but I never really got into Aperture Priority shutter priority and the program mode, especially program. I remember somebody telling me they always use program mode, and I couldn't figure it out at all. But wow, that scene's amazing. But I've been learning about aperture priority, and it was partly because of Nigel Danson. He discovered manual mode recently and talked about it in his vlogs because he always used aperture priority. And then I watched Mads Peter Iverson, and he was talking about aperture priority as well, and did notice that Nigel and he were together in the video. So it's probably where Nigel learned about manual mode, and how manual mode can be a lot better for things like water and so forth. But it was watching Mads that I realised what aperture priority actually does. And what it does is it actually gives you the right exposure straight away. And all you need to do is adjust the ISO to increase the shutter speed. And yeah, I'm a bit, always been a bit scared of adjusting the ISO and taking it too high. But with this camera, it makes no difference. It can go very high and you hardly notice it. So I'm quite happy using aperture priority just now and see how we get on. And the only times you make an adjustment is if you want to under or overexpose. So I'm underexposing for the brightness of the sky, and you would overexpose for snow. And you would just do that using the exposure compensation. So I'm trying that out today and seeing how we get on. Anyway, before people come along and wonder what I'm doing, I'm going to wrap up and catch up with you later. I don't know if I'm going to get to that summit. It might go a little while, but I think Duke's starting to struggle. We've not got very far, to be honest. It's a shame. And I'm just enjoying the light just now. Have a look. So I stopped and took some photographs using the tripod, and did a bit of bracketing as well, because the light beside the monument was really quite nice. I don't actually think I've got a good image, but we'll let you see just now what you think. How's this come out? I just don't know at this stage, because it's all going to be magicked up in the computer later. But I then said to Duke, once I packed the tripod back up and gave him that, are we going to continue, or are we going to go back to the car? Well, you can tell by the pace that he's put on, he wanted to go back to the car. We're heading back downhill. We've had a good walk. He's a happy boy. I've seen some lovely scenery. I'm happy as well. I think if I try to get up that hill, I would cause myself no end of grief. My ME's not been good lately. You probably saw the banner at the top of the page where all my videos are, saying that I was taking a break because of my ME, and technically I am. I'm doing what I can when I can, and it's nothing really special, but this was different. This is the first nice day we've had in a while where it's not been blowing a gale. We just had the two major storms. I think we got Eunice was the last one that hit us bad. Franklin, I think, is what we're getting a bit of just now. It's a bit windy. It's not too bad though. And I just really needed to get out. I've taken a day off. This is a Monday. I've taken a day off work because I've got holiday to burn, really. But it's good to have the occasional long weekend where you can do what needs to be done in the house over the weekend, and then have a day off where you can go and do a little extra. Oh my God, that is thick mud. I really shouldn't vlog. I should be concentrating on where I'm walking. But I just took a photograph just now. I wish I did bring the big lens. I doubt this will come out, but it'll be a test of the 45 megapixel camera, because I photographed people with a snow-capped mountain behind them, and they were coming out, they're cresting the walk just now,
with the mountain behind. But the people were only the size of my focus square in the middle of the screen. So it'll be interesting to see if I get an image out of that. I'm hoping I get something, because it looked quite nice. But wow, I think I'm pointing that camera into the sun, which is not good. So yeah, this is not your normal accessible photography. You might say it's not accessible at all. Well, remember, this is for photographers who can't climb mountains, can't climb hills, and can't hike too far. I've not hiked very far. I'll actually show you on the map the exact distance I've done. And the paths have been a bit up and down, but it's been nothing serious. I mean, I stopped before trying the summit. That really did look a lot steeper going up. So for anybody else, I think this is a good walk. It seems to be very popular with dog walkers and others, and mountain cyclists, which would infer that it is actually not an inaccessible place. So I'm going to show you the Myatt car park and the hill and where it is in location to Stirling, and you yourself can maybe come along and have a wee walk in this area. Just be aware that it is open hillside and a bit windy. Right, more people and more dogs coming. It's time to switch off again. So I'm now carrying everything. Duke has abandoned the tripod. My God, it's windy now. I'm hoping that thing on the microphone actually works. It's a bit waterlogged, so I'm not sure if it will at all. But wow, this has been a great trip, a great day out. Thoroughly recommend it. Have a look at this. That's the car park just below me. Dropping down to that, back in the car, and head home. Come on then, through you go. Good boy, come on. You're not heading to the water, no. That water is the road. Yeah, that is actually the road. Come on. So this is the wee path down to the car park, and I'm in the top car park. Come on in, Duke. It's a bit rough, a bit lumpy. Sure we'll manage. Well, that was a bit of an excursion. That was great fun. I enjoyed that. Back at the car now. Still feeling quite fit and able to do things. Because the whole real point is I didn't feel like I could do anything before I left the house. And I kind of forced myself to get out, take pictures of it. No. I forced myself to get out and come and do this, knowing that a little bit of exercise actually helps you with your energy and everything. Really helps. So I'm feeling good just now, but as long as I've not overdone it, and certainly if I'd gone to the summit I would have overdone it, then I'd suffer in the days to come. But I think I've just got it just right. I'm happy. So on that note, I'm going to say thank you for watching. Let's have a look at the pictures next. Hey Duke. And the GoPro died, and I was really just going to say that I shall review the photographs next from the studio. Over to me, back at home.
Aha, you've stayed right to the end. Very good, thank you very much. I'm just just putting down my limb sip because I've got a bit of a cold. Nothing to do with the trip. I visited a friend in the evening of that day, and he had a cold, and I stayed a bit too long in the house and caught it myself. So my bad. We should learn from the last couple of years' experience not to hang around when somebody's ill. Anyway, let's go on about the pictures. On this trip, I wasn't blown away by my own pictures, to be perfectly honest. I'll show you one just now, which is pretty much the main scene that I took, was looking down the hill towards the Wallace Monument, Stirling and so forth. And the problem I had was it was pretty much directly into the sun. So I worked as best I could to compensate for that without a filter, which would be exposing for the highlights and bringing up the shadows later. But I didn't want the shadows to be too dark, so I've kind of compromised. I think that in some ways that's probably the right way, because if the sky was too compensated for, too dark, I think it would look wrong. So it's quite good that it does show quite brightly. What do you think? Let me know. I also took these images, which are the panels, and this one here is the panel looking south, taking in Stirling, the Wallace Monument round towards the east. That's looking right to left, and that was a multi-shot panel and stitched together in Lightroom later, and I think it came out quite well. And then there was this one, which was actually just a crop of the image that I took, and it's not 100% perfect, and I think mainly because the shutter speed was probably just a little bit too slow considering the windy conditions. And that's something that I've got to work on, is getting my shutter speed correct. And that's where I can lead into Aperture Priority. That I was practicing with Aperture Priority for the first time. I've really not used it very much. And I found that the photographs were coming out a bit better than I would expect. Not better, but it was easier to take the picture because I wasn't fighting so many different things. That Aperture Priority does make life easier, but what I've got to watch is the shutter speed. And that's been my Achilles heel for a long time, is getting the shutter speed correct for the scene. And in the film days, you can't tell until much later. In digital, you should be able to have a little look at the back of the screen and see and realise, no, I got that wrong. But there are times when you want to take a picture and it's over and done with very quickly. The subject's gone, maybe. It might be light, it might be wildlife. So you've got to get that shutter speed correct each time. And with Aperture Priority, it's a simple case of pressing down the ISO button, twiddling a wheel, increasing the ISO to get the speed to what I want it. So hopefully I'll be able to get a bit better at what I'm doing using that. The next thing is, if anyone knows how to fix a Rode mic, please let me know. I'm using the DJI one just now, but I've been using the Rode ones with my GoPro, and I was hoping to just use the GoPro when I go away next. And unfortunately, this is now no longer working. It was working on this trip. I switched it off straight away after it fell in water, and I put it back on again, and it was working fine, but it won't switch off. And if I charge it up, it just will not switch off. I'm not really sure what to do about it. They're quite expensive to replace. I could go for the new DJI mics. They're very expensive. So if you know of mics, wireless mics that A, don't fall off easily, and B, are not breaking the bank and are actually really good, then please let me know. Because you can see cheaper mics, but I have no idea if they're any good. So if you've tried them, let me know. And that's pretty much it. I've been rambling on again. This video is basically entitled A Ramble, and that's what I've done throughout. So thank you for watching this far. I'll finish off with a couple of the pictures that I took, and I'd just like to say, remember to get out, take pictures, have fun, and I will see you soon. It may not be as soon as I would like. I don't think I'm going to get out before my next big trip, and that is going to be something special. So it might be a month before there's another video out. But until then, thanks for watching. Bye for now.